That is what Cari was talking about. Now, here was your response, where I will get to some specific things that you said about how you felt about her criticizing you.
You just said, Cari, you called me, you root for me. Why would you root for somebody that called you out in Jemele Hill, who's your good friend? Because it's never happened. Never. I've shown you nothing but love. What are you talking about? You were hired at First Take in large part because of me. You stayed as long as you stayed and had the support of the people that supported you because of.
I got to stop it right there. See, one thing I don't like about these conversations, and particularly when I've seen Stephen A. have these conversations, is when you bring in what you did for somebody to say, oh, if it wasn't for me, then you wouldn't be, because I've heard you say something similar about me. And I have always credited Stephen A. Smith with the fact that when I was a columnist in Orlando, and Stephen A. had a show called Quite Frankly on ESPN, he had a segment on the show called The Back Page, which he purposely and intentionally made as a space for Black columnists. So I was on it, Rob Parker was on it, a lot of people were on it who were Black opinion makers, opinionists during that time. And it is very true that being able to be on Quite Frankly and to be, sort of seen nationally was definitely something that helped me in my career. Make no mistake about it. And I'm not trying to discredit anything that you have done for me. But you saying that you helped Cari get to First Take, I know that unequivocally not to be true. And I'm going to just say it what it is. Do I think that you put in a good word here and there for Cari? I'm not saying that you didn't. But you made it seem like you scouted her at the Tennis Channel. You brought her over to ESPN, and that's how she got First Take. And I can tell you 1,000%, the man that did that, his name is Jerry Madeline. You and I both know him. Jerry Madeline was somebody whose job at ESPN was to scout talent. He was the one who scouted Cari from the Tennis Channel, if I'm not mistaken. I was there because I was one of the people who tried out for First Take. I was already an employee of ESPN. It was me, Cindy Brunson. They gave us like 2-week trials to host First Take. And I knew that I really didn't have a chance to get the job. I had been on the other side of the desk as somebody who was there as, a panelist. That's what I did. And so people were used to seeing me debate, not necessarily host. And so I knew that it was going to be something that I probably wouldn't be their first or second or third choice to do that, because I think they saw me as more of a debater as opposed to a host. No problem. But happy that they still gave me the opportunity anyway. It was a chance for me to sort of wet my beak when it came to hosting, which is something at that point I hadn't done a whole lot of, but was obviously eyeing that as something that maybe would be the next step in my career. So while I was trying out for First Take, they brought in other candidates to try out for First Take. Cari was one.
Do I need to get bosses to confirm that I'm telling the truth? You know I can. When we see the diverse people that come on First Take, Black people, women, the list goes on and on. Who did that? That wasn't happening when Skip was there.
Let me stop you right there. I was on the show before you were there, Stephen A. So it was happening, and I wasn't the only one. It was me. It was Rob Parker. It was the Stews. A lot of Black voices. Shit, you want me to go back? It was Lomas Brown. It was Ray Buchanan. It was Sean King. Literally everybody debated, including you, because you were in the rotation of debaters. Everybody Skip Bayless debated for years was Black. Post Woody Page, just about everybody. Everybody was Black or everybody was a woman. You have continued that, obviously. And I do believe that you really have been very intentional about making sure women are on the show, about certain topics you have. So I'm not trying to not give you your credit, but come on, bro. We got to keep it 100 here. First Take, having Black people on the show, did not start with you. That started before you.
That was me. What are you talking about? have I spoken against you? When have I thrown shade against you? When did that happen?